Welcome to Two Open Doors, the podcast that explores our power to open or close the doors of relationship with the important people in our lives. We hope you'll learn from and share your wisdom with our community. Thanks for joining us. This episode takes us in a new direction, an exploration of how to make the Two Open Doors community and its various expressions in the podcast, Facebook group, meetup group, and website more useful and relevant to those who seek deep connection in their lives. The thinking behind today's episode may hopefully provide some good insights into needed mid-course corrections. Each of us enjoys a spectrum of different kinds of relationships in our life. Some of these are relatively light and superficial, providing human connection without being an essential part of our lives. Many of our friendships exist at that level, enjoyable and satisfying relationships that are enriching but not necessarily sources of deep meaning for us. At the other extreme, we may be lucky enough to enjoy a few connections that seem to exist on a soul level. In such connections, we feel that we are truly seen, known, and valued, and we likely have reciprocal feelings for our partner. Such relationships tend to be few, and they're rare and precious. They warrant our investment of our precious time and energy in nurturing them. As I reflected in Season 2, Episode 43 on relationship and community, I don't expect to have many such connections in my own life. Personally, I value deep connections much more than I do lighter, more superficial relationships, and I haven't encountered many people who seem to share these values. As I've previously shared, I have spent a lifetime in search of my people. I don't read too much into this situation. Just as there are different species of fish, some of which thrive near the sunlit surface, while others prefer the middle depths, and yet others exist in the depths, so too I believe that people differ in the kind of personal connections that they prefer. Do I have a concern over Two Open Doors? In honesty, yes. The issue that I see is that it doesn't seem to have drawn interest in creating a vibrant community, which has been my hope and goal from the outset. Interest in the podcast remains steady but relatively small. The same is true of my posts in the Two Open Doors Facebook group, which continues to have a few regular readers. I've tried twice now to offer interesting, deep connection-related events, only to have to cancel due to low enrollment. I'm taking another swipe at this through an Introduction to Two Open Doors in-person event on November 22nd here in Portland, as announced in the Two Open Doors meetup group. Perhaps my most disheartening observation is that there continues to be little or no reader commentary and participation in the Two Open Doors private Facebook group, which I post regularly. As a result, the tone of that group remains that of a place to potentially hear and learn new things about deep connection, but without active group participation. My desire has never been to be a talking head or a guru for the group. Rather, my hope is to find and engage in dialogue with other interesting members. I think that there are three general ways of looking at Two Open Doors in the course of problem solving. We'll consider each of the following three items in turn. First, regarding content, that is, the focus and approach taken by the community. Second, we'll look at presentation, the ways in which Two Open Doors content is made available to the community. And third, we'll consider pragmatics, the impact of environment on growth of the community. Let's start by considering the kind of content that I offer. It's possible that the focus of Two Open Doors, that is, on creating and nurturing deeply connected personal relationships, simply isn't of interest to enough members of our society to make it a viable pursuit. I personally see our society as being one in which many people are very alienated and estranged from one another. Certainly, in America, independence garners a lot more attention and interest than does healthy interdependence. Still, my sense from talking to those I know is that many resonate with the notion of deep connection and would like to have more such connections in their own lives. I don't believe that such a life goal lacks appeal. I also see it as possible that many of those who encounter the Two Open Doors goals and philosophy view them as unrealistic or unattainable or as starry-eyed idealism. Such an assessment would likely kill interest in belonging to such a community. Again, though, those I speak with seem to get the value of a Two Open Doors approach to relationships. I think that many people understand that we need one another as the socially oriented beings that we are. Turning now to how I try to deliver or present content, I do my best to remain open-minded as to what I can do better in my efforts to share the Two Open Doors gospel. I'd like to think that this post is one such example of that. I'm doing what I can to truly invite comment from and listen to my audience, rather than just sharing my own views. I'm open to making all of the Two Open Doors channels as inviting as possible for community members to participate in. Similarly, it may be that my presentation style is too heady or abstract for my intended audience. Again, I will gladly do what I can to better align with what's most effective and most inviting. In particular, I understand and value the power of personal sharing. I'm working to make my posts more concrete by talking about how I personally experience each topic that I write or talk about. I also see a potential problem in not providing enough practical guidance in my content. This too aligns with the possibility that my content is too abstract to be digestible for my audience. The Two Open Doors events that I am starting to offer reflect my attempt to make my content more meaningful, approachable, and more applicable to daily life. That will be especially true for my in-person events. In addition to the various possible concerns that I've just outlined, there are also some environmental factors that lie outside my direct control, but which may be also limiting interest in Two Open Doors. One of those is the COVID epidemic, which has of course created deep isolation and changes in our lifestyle over the last 2 or more years. As people increasingly emerge from that isolation, perhaps that problem will diminish in significance. My hope is that interest in in-person meetings will grow as we learn to manage life in the pandemic. In a related vein, I recognize that people, including myself, lead busy lives. Many different things compete for people's limited time and psychic energy. I hope that the sort of enriched lives that a Two Open Doors approach makes possible will prove to offer enough interest to draw people into community. I also think it's likely that I need to improve the actions that I'm taking to try to spread the word about the Two Open Doors. Perhaps if I can do a better job of marketing, more people may come to realize that they have an attractive new option for enhancing the meaning in their lives. I'm working on that. We've covered a lot of ground in this short but important post. My main message to you, my audience, is that I see many possible factors that may be impeding the evolution of Two Open Doors into the community that I hope for, and that I need your help to identify clearly and address those growth limiters. If you see value in what Two Open Doors offers, please join me in charting a better course. I'll do the hard work, but that's likely to be fruitless without your perspective and interest. I'd like to close this episode with a few questions that you can shed light on. First, as you encounter the material that I post, do you see it as more useful than, yes, that's nice? Is it understandable and memorable, or too abstract and inapplicable to your own life? Is it sufficiently personable and engaging for you? Second, are there any specific reasons that you don't engage with the Two Open Doors community, through questions and comments regarding posts or through attending events? Are there specific opportunities that you'd like to see offered so as to increase your participation? And finally, what can I do to make it easier for you to participate in Two Open Doors? Does it work for you to have me post content mostly on the Two Open Doors Facebook group and to offer events and sign-ups through the Two Open Doors meetup group? Is there any cross-group synergy you'd like to see me leverage, such as with the Empowered Pleasure meetup group? If you'd like to join the dialogue by responding to these questions or by making other comments, you can do so by submitting comments on the Two Open Doors private Facebook group. Thanks in advance for your answers, which I very much appreciate. To learn more about Two Open Doors and to engage with our community, I'd like to invite you to visit the Two Open Doors private Facebook group, the Two Open Doors meetup group, and the Two Open Doors website and blog at twoopendoors.com. I also invite you to contact me directly by writing to me at Claude, CLAUDE, at twoopendoors.com. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll use your inputs to guide my work on future blog posts and podcast episodes. Thanks for visiting Two Open Doors.